Hi guys. So for mug meals this week, we're going to be doing dessert. And I've got quick and easy chocolate mug cake. So I'm going to angle this down so you can see us get started because you've got your macaroni and cheese. That would make a great lunch or dinner. And then we had our breakfast, the French toast in the mug. So now we're going to do dessert. So we're going to make a chocolate mug cake. So you've got your mug, good size one, like a 16-ounce mug. You don't want a small teacup, you want the good size one. And we've got our instructions. And the first thing I want you to do is to mix 4 tablespoons of flour. I've got my flour right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, got that in there. Next on our recipes, it wants 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And this is stuff you can get at grocery outlet, the Dollar Tree. It's pretty cheap. So got 2 tablespoons. 1, 2. Get a little messy, doesn't matter. Of the cocoa powder. We've got our flour and our cocoa powder. Next, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar. I'll wipe my spoon off. I've got my tablespoon. We've got 1, 2, 3. There's 3 tablespoons of sugar. Our recipe says in a small bowl, mix the flour, cocoa powder, and sugar, baking powder. This is baking powder. Most of your families should have this in their cupboards. You can ask your mom or dad. 1/4 teaspoon baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon, that's the small one. And then 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda is 1/8 teaspoon. That's going to be half of our 1/4 one. Okay, we're going to mix all that up. That's our dry ingredients. So we mix all that up like that. Okay. Now we're going to put in our 1 egg. And it's okay if you get messy, just make sure you clean it up when you're done. Mrs. Ettinger gets messy all the time when she cooks. So we got 1 egg. And then we need 3 tablespoons, so we're back to our big one, our tablespoon of milk. So be real careful when you pour it in, you don't want too much. So 3 of these, 1, 2, 3. I like to use whole milk when I bake. It gives it a creamier texture. And then we need oil. Mrs. Ettinger is going to use olive oil. And they want 3 tablespoons of oil. You can use regular vegetable oil. That's all you have. It's no big deal. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And now we need 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. So vanilla. We'll get our 1/2 teaspoon of our measuring spoons. And we'll put in our vanilla. And that's it for ingredients. Now we're going to stir all of this up. It says to stir in and mix really good and get rid of any lumps. So you just want to see batter. You don't want to see any lumps. So we're going to stir this up. I have my fork. I'm just using a fork. That's really all you need. And kind of lift up from the bottom like this. See how you get a little bit of flour comes out. To make sure you get all of that flour that's underneath. Make sure it's just all batter. Look at that, chocolate cake batter right there. Stir and lift until you don't see any more flour. All right. Now, putting this in our mug. The recipe says to do all this in a separate bowl, which you can, but I'm trying to make it a little easier on everybody and just doing it in the same container, which is our mug. So now our recipe says to microwave on high for 2 minutes. It might be a little wet still in the middle, but that's okay. So I'm going to take this over here to the microwave. We've got our mug and our batter. We're going to set it for 2 minutes. And that's just on high. And then while our chocolate cake is cooking, can you clean up your mess? And I hope you guys have liked our If You Can Boil Water and mug baking series. Trying to give you simple recipes that you guys can make all by yourself. And most of you should have baking soda, baking powder. Most families have them as they're called staples in your pantry. And most people have these in their house already. You just have to ask your parents, your mom, your dad, your guardian, whomever. Of course, we used milk. Everybody has milk. We used olive oil for this one, but you can use regular vegetable oil if you want. It's really no big deal as long as you use little oil in there. Vanilla is another staple that your family or your guardians may have in their pantry. So just ask if you don't know where it's at. The other thing we used was our measuring spoons. We had a tablespoon, we had a quarter spoon, and an eighth. You can ask if you're not sure where those are at either, but you're going to need the measuring spoons. And that's really all we did to measure. And then to stir, and our egg. And to stir it, we just used a fork. So you didn't need any big fancy machine or anything like that to stir it. And we followed our recipe. And our recipe here says microwave on high for 2 minutes. Do not overcook. When it's done, the center is still going to be a little wet, like a molten chocolate. We used our cocoa powder. We had our flour and our sugar. Oh, there we go. And our flour. Let's go check it out. Ooh, baby. Look at that. That rose up really good. Oh, yeah, it's done. So look at that chocolate cake. So when your chocolate cake is done, I would let it cool for a few minutes because it's a little hot in here. If you want, you can take it out of the mug, put it on a plate, put some ice cream, some vanilla ice cream or something next to it, or you can just grab a spoon. Grab a spoon or a clean fork. Let's take a taste. Oh yeah. That's good chocolate cake. Looks like it made enough for 2 people. You could put, if you have frosting in a can, you could put some frosting on it, ice cream, whatever you want for a quick, fast, easy, one-person chocolate cake. So I hope you guys will like this. Give the recipe a try and let Mrs. H and I and Miss Hour know what you think.